After the monumentally exciting news that David Tennant and Catherine Tate would be returning to Doctor Who in 2023 for something, the very next day there were filming images of them, but it seemed odd. David Tennant wasn't in his usual costume. Instead of the pinstripe suit with the brown coat, or occasionally had the blue suit, he was wearing a sort of tartan suit-esque thing. It looked similar to his original one, but was just a bit off. And instead of the brown coat, he had a blue coat, which, was looking very nice, is not what the 10th Doctor is famous for wearing. And that got people thinking, could David Tennant in fact be playing the 14th Doctor? It's an idea that has been mentioned many times before, and every time I've gone, no, he's not playing the 14th Doctor. But I think he might be. So here is all the evidence that David Tennant is playing the 14th Doctor. The week before David Tennant and Catherine Tate were announced to be returning, we got the announcement that Ncuti Gatwa would be playing the quote-unquote next Doctor, and the fact that we're currently on the 13th Doctor and he's playing the next Doctor made us all assume that he would be playing the 14th Doctor. However, it has been pointed out that in that official announcement and in subsequent official articles about him, he has not once been donned the 14th Doctor by any of them. The only time he has been called the 14th Doctor is in a BBC News article. However, due to the fact that Doctor Who is being produced by Bad Wolf now, means that the BBC don't actually have access to that kind of information. In his official announcement, interviews with him and Russell T Davies, and even his Doctor Who magazine cover, he has not once been donned the 14th Doctor. And in a similar fashion, David Tennant and Catherine Tate's announcement revealed them returning as the Doctor and Donna. At no point was David Tennant said to be playing the 10th Doctor. Russell T Davies flirted with the idea that maybe he was the 10th Doctor in a missing story, but he also went on to say that maybe it's a trick, maybe it's a parallel universe, never outright confirming that he was playing the 10th Doctor, or not playing the 10th Doctor. The only time this return has been given the title of the Return of the 10th Doctor is third-party sources such as other news websites and also the official Doctor Who newsletter, but once again, similarly to the BBC News website, that's not exactly a reliable source these days, which sounds pretty mad, I know, but that's just how it is. I mentioned David Tennant's new costume earlier, and if he was in fact playing the 10th Doctor, then you would expect him to be in the classic 10th Doctor look. Unless it was like a 10-part or 8-part 10th Doctor series where I could see them mixing his costume up a bit, you would expect them to put David Tennant in his iconic 10th Doctor costume, seeing as this will be some sort of special for the 60th anniversary, and as such you want all the recognisable iconography. And it's not just his costume either. Although blurry, you can clearly make out that as well as the new costume, he also has a new sonic screwdriver. It seemed like it might be taking inspiration from his original one, but definitely isn't the same. Perhaps some similarities to his original one would suggest this might be some sort of alternative timeline for the 10th Doctor. I know I've theorised myself about the Trickster possibly being involved, but from the set photos, I think it's only looking similar because of the blue light at the top. Take that away, replace it with a different colour, I think it would look completely different. New costume, new Sonic, that would suggest to me a new Doctor. But it's not just what's changed that's interesting, it's what's stayed the same. In all of the set photos we've had of David Tennant's return, he's been using the TARDIS, but not his original 10th Doctor TARDIS, he's been using Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor TARDIS police box. Now, whilst this doesn't outright confirm he is the 14th Doctor, what it does confirm is whatever this event is, it takes place directly after the Centenary Special, where Jodie Whittaker will regenerate. So at the very least, this is some sort of alternative timeline, and this would be him caught up in the present day. Although the fact he is using the 13th Doctor's TARDIS and not his original one suggests more to me, coupled with the other two factors, that he is in fact playing the 14th Doctor. The involvement of Donna as well is really what I think makes this theory. Thinking about the 10th Doctor's timeline, there is no opportunity for him to have met Donna again between the events of Journey's End and when he eventually catches up with Wilf in The End of Time. Now, you could argue this is some sort of missing story that was based before, except the sheer presence of Shaun Temple on set with Donna means the story has to be set after The End of Time. Yasmin Finney was also recently announced to be playing a character called Rose, who is not Rose Tyler. Please, if you are saying she's a recast of Rose Tyler and moaning, kindly just be quiet. You're not helping anyone, not even yourselves. Anyway, we know from set photos the fact that she seems very close with the Noble family, having her arm around Sean, and a set video where Sean shouts Donna as the TARDIS rematerializes and she shouts Mum, that she is in fact playing the daughter of Donna and Sean called Rose. Presumably this is some sort of Donna's memories are leaking back through which causes her to give her daughter that name. But anyway, their daughter is not young, she is a teenager or maybe even older, so once again, if the presence of Sean there wasn't enough to confirm this was set after the end of time, the presence of their daughter definitely is. And if this is a story where the Doctor's meeting Donna and set after the end of time, then this at the very least has to be some sort of weird time travel-y thing, but more likely, David Tennant's the 14th Doctor. This last bit of evidence is a slightly spoilery one, but not really. It's been going around the internet, so you've probably seen it anyway. But there was a supposed leak posted on Reddit which said that David Tennant and Catherine Tate would be returning to Doctor Who, which we now know is true. They also stated that in the story, Donna would have a daughter called Rose, which we also now know to be true. They also stated that Jacqueline King would be back as Sylvia, that Sean would be back, both of which we know are true, and that Wilf would be mentioned, although they weren't sure if he was appearing. We now know that he definitely is mentioned and definitely is appearing, so that is also true. They also claimed that this would be 3 specials for the 60th anniversary, and the first one would feature Unit, something which from set photos we also know is true. So this leak has proven its accuracy, and as such I would assume everything else it says is in fact correct. I think the detail about Rose being Donna's daughter is what really clinches it, because that is something you wouldn't really make up or accidentally guess correctly. But what this leak also says is that David Tennant will in fact be playing the 14th Doctor, and these 3 specials will be linked by him trying to work out why he's got his old face back. If that wasn't proof enough, I don't know what is, but all of this together definitely leads me to believe that David Tennant will in fact be playing the 14th Doctor in these specials and not the 10th Doctor, or at the very least Jodie Whittaker has somehow degenerated into a form of the 10th Doctor. Because from set photos and pictures, he's doing all the 10th Doctor-y mannerisms. His costume, although new, is very 10th Doctor-y, so I think if she does somehow regenerate into David Tennant, it will be like the 10th Doctor somehow re-emerged. Maybe not necessarily a new Doctor, but David Tennant will in some way be playing the 14th Doctor. But I want to know what you think. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think David Tennant is playing the 14th Doctor, or am I talking a load of waffle? Whatever you think, remember to like and subscribe, but in the meantime, I've been Cyberman Alf, and from me for now, it's goodbye.